I had an all-natural birth. No pain meds, no epidural, nothing. Here's how. Hi, my name is Naya. I am a content creator that focuses on content surrounding mom life, relationships, self-care, and fashion. So if that sounds like you and those are things that you're interested in, give me a follow and let's be friends. Having an all-natural birth is 70% mental and I'd say about 30% physical. What I mean by that is you can control your pain level through your mind. And it took me a while to kind of get an idea of what that means, but I'm going to explain it to you, I promise. So there is something called hypnobirthing. No, it is not some ritualistic stuff. It's not weird. It's just the name of it. And really, it just kind of goes into like a deep meditation, like a deep relaxation. And deep relaxation comes from the mind. Like you have to know how to relax every fiber in your body using your mind and deep breathing. So I'm going to go through kind of what I did to mentally prepare my mind to give birth naturally. So number one, I have a lot of anxiety during pregnancy, before pregnancy, and postpartum. So what helped me was to research as much as possible, just know all of the things that I needed to know about birth and how it happens and what to expect so that nothing is happening in the moment that I'm not expecting or prepared for, because I need to give my brain, just the way my brain works, but I need to give my brain time to process and think through what I'm doing and make sure that it's something that I want to do so that there's no like spur of the moment things or decisions that I have to make when I'm in a time where I cannot make those decisions, which is where a doula comes in. Doulas are very helpful, but unfortunately I did have a doula, but I did not have a doula during my birth. And that's a whole nother story for a different day. I had to get rid of the doula that I chose, but I highly recommend a doula because they can help relax your mind in those regards as well. Because if you foster like a good relationship with a doula, you know that they have your best interest in mind and that they're going to make the best decisions for you when you are not in a time to like focus on those decisions, like you're focusing on getting the baby out. So yeah, highly recommend a doula, but make sure you find one that resonates and does all the things that you need and feels comfortable. So I watched a lot of videos about childbirth. I watched a lot of childbirthing videos. I did research on the process, what's helpful, what's not helpful, and also like different things that can happen, things that can go wrong, things that are good and helpful for developing the baby, things that are safe for the baby, things that might be a bit harmful. I did as much research as possible about every little thing. And I also did a lot of research on every single pain intervention and what the side effects are and kind of what they're not telling you, because there's certain things that is like, oh, this is safe, but it's like really like, is doing some other stuff that they don't like to disclose. So definitely do your research and deep dive into those things because they be real secretive and some things they omit. So it's not like they're lying to you, but at the same time, they're not telling the full truth about some of those interventions. So number two, throughout my pregnancy, I had a lot of low blood pressure. Now, low blood pressure is not seen as a big concern during pregnancy. They kind of just, monitor it and tell you to keep hydrated and make sure you're eating consistently. So they don't really do much for low blood pressure. However, low blood pressure during labor and delivery can be harmful because it can affect your baby and also lower their heart rate. And you don't want heart rate drops during labor and delivery because that leads to an emergency and can lead to C-section. So I knew that epidurals can also lower heart rates in your baby and also lower your blood pressure because it relaxes you. There's the drug that's in it relaxes the body. And I already had low blood pressure, so I was terrified how that was going to affect me and how that was going to affect my baby. So I think having that in my mind made it a little bit easier for me to be like more scared about the epidural than I was about natural childbirth. I know that sounds weird, but yeah, the epidural gave me anxiety knowing that if I take it, like, it could potentially lower my blood pressure even more and potentially lower my baby's heart rate and lead us into some emergency situation that we don't want to be in. Number 3, I did a lot of baths in my 3rd trimester, and just during those baths, I would listen to, hypnobirthing videos, and just kind of learn as much as I could about those hypno videos. And then also, I had my partner learn a lot of things as well, because I needed him to be ready to speak up for me and know as much as I knew about the birthing process and be able to recite to the nurses and doctors what I was willing to do and what I was not willing to do in the case or event that I am unwilling to or unable to speak for myself. So he was kind of like gonna be my secondary doula, but he ended up being the main spokesperson for me because I did not have a doula. But yeah, if you can get your partner on board and have them look at all the necessary things that they need to know and send them all the things that they need to learn, that is helpful too, and that helps put the mind at rest, because when it comes time and they get into action, they will feel more comfortable speaking on certain topics as well. Number 4, I did a lot of deep breathing, which is also a part of hypnobirthing. There's 3 main breaths. There is up breathing, J breathing, and down breathing, and they're used in 3 different parts of labor and delivery. So up breathing is when you breathe in for 4 counts and out for 8 counts. So that's breathe in through your nose, 1, 2, 3, 4, and out through your mouth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, this breath is supposed to be helpful for early labor and delivery. So when you're having contractions, whenever you have contractions, you do the up breathing, and it helps you get through those contractions. Now, while you're also doing that breathing, you should be relaxing every single piece and fiber of your body. You should not tense up anything. There was one video on here. I will link the creator if I can find her, but her video was so simple, but it got to me mentally about like how to envision relaxing every fiber of your body. She called it going unalive body. She called it, DEAD body. I don't know if I could say that on TikTok. I don't know. TikTok, YouTube, whatever. I'm just trying not to get flagged. But she said, just completely just relax as if you are out conscious. And that kind of helped me mentally, because it's like, okay, if I'm out conscious, what exactly is relaxed? Everything. That means your face muscles, your eyebrows, your hands, you clenching something with your hands, like relaxing your pelvis, relaxing your legs, relaxing your toes, relaxing your feet. Just lay in a way where you do not have to use a single muscle of your body. Just like completely just lay. Just let the wave of the contraction work without you doing anything to interfere with the wave of that contraction. Just lay there. That, when I found that out and found that video and had her explain that to me, I would say that was the biggest help in me having a natural birth. Because when I tell you, the moment that I would tense up or have to flex a muscle during a contraction, that made the contraction significantly more painful. Whereas if I'm just sitting there relaxing, it was actually pretty manageable. I won't say it wasn't painful, but it wasn't nearly as painful when you're fighting against the contractions. The moment that you start fighting against the contractions, they get unbearable. But when you're able to just like lay there and let the contraction be the wave that it is and let your body do what it needs to, all I can say is that is how I got through it. I would say the up breathing and letting my body just do what it needs to do. The next breath, the J breath. So this is when you're trying to move baby down. Not necessarily push them out, but move them down. And you know that they're like settling down. This breath is helpful when you're sitting upright, or maybe you're standing and leaning up against something, but you're like trying to wiggle baby down. So it's called the J breath because you're envisioning it, the baby coming down and out like a J. So you breathe in through your nose and out through your nose, but as you're breathing out through your nose, you kind of like moo or groan, because it's like a slow release and you're slowly like getting through that pain, I guess. So you breathe in for like maybe 4, I think it's like 4 counts, I can't remember. And then you breathe out, but as you're breathing out, it's not really like a breathe out, it's like a breathe out groan, like a breathe out moo, like moo. So it's kind of like you're releasing some of that tension or pain through your voice as well, and that deep groan can kind of help release some of that pain. So the last one is called down breathing, and this is the one that you use when you're actively pushing out baby. So you breathe in and you do a quick breathe out. So it's you either let it all out or you breathe in and you blow out 10 candles. You go. So doing that naturally kind of contracts those muscles, but it does it in a steady, gradual way so that you're not like shooting the baby out. You're like gradually kind of getting them out. And yeah, that one I did use during birth, but in the end, I think my body just did a fetal eject and just popped her right out because she was ready to come out. I don't know what number I'm on. I have lost count, but I will say that my lasting tips that I want to leave you with is warm baths, because if you're going to do natural birth, I learned that the contractions were much more bearable in warm water. However, they don't recommend getting into a bath when you're about to have a baby until you're like, I think 8 centimeters dilated, or like close to actually pushing the baby out, because it can stall the labor and make it take a little bit longer for baby to come out. So warm baths and warm water help calm you and help take away some of that pain for contractions. But I will say that one thing that happened during my labor, that I did not research or did not fully understand, because I never birthed a baby before, and I just feel like, I don't know, the doctors would have told me what to do, but they didn't in this moment, and which is where a doula would have been helpful for me, is when you're actually birthing the baby, like how to push them out. Because I'm thinking, I'm doing all this breathing, right? I know how to, like, now I know how to cope with my contractions. I'm at the last little milestone of birthing my baby, but for whatever reason, she was not coming out. Why? Because I never actually pushed her. For some reason, I had this idea in my mind that she was just gonna come out. I didn't know how to effectively use my muscles down there to get her out. I'm like, okay, if I push, like, is it time to push? How do I know when it's time to push? Like, I just did not have the information at that moment to know that it was time to push her out. And the doctors weren't really like asking me. I guess maybe because I looked so calm and, I was breathing and I was handling it well, they probably didn't think I was as far along as I was. or ready to push, but I was just so confused, and I had to ask them. I was like, okay, how do I get her out? Like, how do I push? So I will leave you with this tip of pushing. It's like when you get to a point where you feel like something pressing, like it's like you feel the baby is pressing, that is kind of when you start pushing. And when I say pressing, you'll feel pressure like in your cervix. You'll feel pressure like right at the opening of your vagina, and that is when you help your body get the baby out. And so at that point, you use those muscles, Kegel muscles, and push out as if you are pooping. I know it sounds bad, but that it's kind of the same muscles going on in there. You push as if you're pooping. I didn't get that. All the research I did, I missed that part. Nobody explained that to me. So they told me that during labor, and we were able to do it, and that was more helpful. I learned that when you do it when you're actively having a contraction, your body takes over. Like, it's called the fetal eject reflex, I think. And when you push during a contraction, your body just like it just takes over. It does it for you. You really don't even have to try that hard. You give it like a nice good push, and then your body is like, okay, you gave me enough energy to keep pushing for you. It's crazy how it works. Like, I was like really surprised when my body took over after I gave like a slight push. It was like a wave. Like, I don't know, this is probably the grossest comparison, but when you're having a bowel movement and you push a little bit and then your body takes over and gets the rest of that, poop out of you, it's kind of like that. Sorry to be gross, but like, we're just raw here. We're going to give it how it is. This is childbirth. This is natural. This is how our bodies work. But you got this. It's all mental. If you believe you can do it, you can. Change positions often. Drink a lot of water. Stay hydrated. If any position feels uncomfortable or you feel not relaxed, definitely switch. You can lay down. Just put a peanut in between your knees to help keep the cavity open. And yeah, you got this. Wiggle around, move around, get that baby out. I wish y'all all the best, and I hope you get your all-natural birth. And even if you don't beat yourself up about it. You do whatever you need to so that you can get that baby earthside healthy and happy, and make sure you're taking care of you. That's all that matters. But if you want to have an all-natural birth, try these things. If it doesn't work out, it is okay.